So yesterday we did a drawing using just circles, squares, triangles to break it all down to make it easier to draw. So today we're going to add some shading, which will add form, so it will make it look more 3D. We are to tend to use posh words, I don't know why. I'm going to try and make it look 3D. Now it's not, I haven't touched this picture. I've rubbed a couple of bits out, but other than that I haven't added to it. Purely and simply that there's nothing more annoying than somebody showing you something at one stage, disappearing, doing 6 hours worth of work to make it look amazing, and then coming back and you're like, wow, what happened in the middle? So I've left it, as I said, I've just rubbed a couple of bits out so that you don't have to sit and watch me rub the bits out. And today we're going to look at shading. Now I mentioned yesterday about pencils. I work with a 4B and an 8B, and generally I stick with my 8B, but that's a personal choice. You will find a pencil that works for you, and it's just, and you're meant to use different ones, but I generally find people will stick with 4B, 6B, 8B. Tends to be the three that I found the students work best with, so it's up to you. I'm sticking with my 8B. So, and the 8B as well means you can see what I'm doing on the page, because if I go much lighter you can't see because of all the lighting. I have invested in some new lighting, so hopefully you can see a bit better what I'm doing. So I'm going to turn you around so you can see my page. Now all I've done, as you can see, I've left these ones the same. I've still got my triangles and everything on them. This one I've just rubbed out a bit so you can see the shading. And what I've done is I've looked at my actual still life, and here you can see there's a little blob of light that's coming from the light behind the camera. And then there's one just above it on the rim, and then just on the edge of the lid. So all I've done is very lightly, I have drawn in where those lights are. I've also got a slightly lighter bit coming down on a curve on each side of the lid. So again, I've just drawn in that shape roughly so I can see. And actually, my lid comes around that way a bit more, because it does come round the back. What it should do anyhow. So it's there. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to look at my lid, and I'm going to say, right, there's a little bit of light there, and then there's a little bit of light over there. And you need this, because this is what's going to make it look round. And then I'm going to look at the fact that which bits are really dark. Now I've cheated a little bit because I've actually put my light, and I would recommend you do the same. Choose one light source, so a lamp, and actually make it hit your scene so that it creates a really strong shadow to start with for you to work with. As I say, I'm struggling at the moment because I've lost my strong shadow because of the lighting that I've had to use, so you can actually see what I'm doing. So bear with me. This is, yeah, I've got lights all over the place at the moment. So I've actually got a little bit of light here as well, which is coming from my other light source, because, yeah, I've got lights all over the place. So now you're going to start to add shading, and if you, some ways the easiest thing is to shade the whole thing in, I've found, but following the shape of the object. So don't go across if it's a curved object, go with the curve. It will help you later on, honest. So I'm just going to do the lid for now, because otherwise you're going to be sat watching me colouring things in. And I just wanted to show you a couple of things. So my lid is really, really dark here, and all I'm doing is applying a little bit more pressure with my pencil. I don't have to apply a huge amount because of what I'm using with an 8B. And then I'm blending it gently, so less pressure as I go across. And then I come back and I apply even more pressure because I want to make that section even darker, because it is darker. If you can defocus your eyes, some people can look beyond the object almost, which makes the object blurry, and then it just becomes a series of blocks of light and dark. But maybe I'm just weird and I can do that. I don't know. And then this bit down here is quite dark as well. Oh, see, look, my easel keeps moving. I'd much rather work on my lap. And if you find it easier to work on your lap, then do. There's no right and wrong with art. This is Some artists will tell you there are, but there is no right and wrong. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing. And this is meant to be enjoyable. This is not meant to be a stressful activity. If it looks naff at the end of it, well, it won't look naff at the end of it, but if it doesn't look the way you want it to look at the end of it, that is not a problem. It's not the end of the world. The more you do it, the more you will feel more confident about your work and the happier you will be. So don't give up if it doesn't look right. Please don't give up. So as you're shading, you're building it up in layers almost. You're not going like, oh, really dark really to start with. You're building it up in layers, which allows you to blend it across as well. Now, very quickly, because I really don't want this video going on for too long, because I know you'll get bored of the sound of my voice. I'm now going to use my rubber as a pencil as such, in that I am going to use it to lift out, oh, everything would stop moving, my highlights. So here I have some light, and here I have a light, and here I have a light. And you can buy proper putty rubbers, which means you can shape it, which makes it a little bit easier. Or you can get a little pair of scissors and you can just cut your rubber, oopala, where's it gone? To a little point like that. Ooh, where you gone? And get in front of the dark bit. And I normally just use a little offcut I've used. And that, because I've actually just rubbed the whole lot out because I didn't check my pencil first. That can then be used just to lift out little bits where the light would be. So I think I said there's a little bit here on the rim, isn't there? If I look, again, it's about keep looking and back. Look and back. 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds. And then we're just lifting out. Now, that's not great, but it's a start. And as I start to build and I add extra shading onto it, it will start to look much, much better. So have a go, work into the one that you did yesterday, even if you're not happy with it. And what I would suggest, if you want to really start getting into sketching and drawing, is try and do one quick sketch every day. Even if it's just you sat with a cup of tea over breakfast and you just get the shapes of the cup down, or I don't know, you're sat in the evening and your little ones sat with, oh, I don't know what they'd be sat with, a bowl of cereal, and you just sit there and you draw the bowl that they're holding in their hand. Just something to keep your hand in, and the more you do it, the more confident you will get. And even if you're not happy with them, just keep plugging away at it, because eventually you'll reach a stage where you look at it and think, actually, that's not bad. And as long as you're enjoying it, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Because for me, if I'm stressed, I go away, I do a drawing. It could be the worst drawing in the world, but I'm almost pouring it out. And it just gives me a chance to get my brain straight while I'm drawing. So, there we go. You are my therapy is what I'm telling you, I suppose. So that is adding shading to give it form, so to make it look more three-dimensional and more round. Okay, next week, so starting tomorrow, we're going to be doing photography. So it doesn't have to be a posh camera. You can do it with a phone. You can do it with just a normal little digital camera point and push job. If you've got a big flash camera, that's fine. You can use that as well. But we're going to be looking at artistically playing. So it's not about how to take the best photograph. It's about how to have a bit of fun and add some extra dimensions to your photographs. Okay. So I will see you tomorrow to do photography. Bye.